You are watching GDTV's special report on natural healing discoveries. Thanks for joining us for a special report on Neuro Acupuncture, hope for stroke, Parkinson's disease, cerebral palsy, and other neurological disorders patients. A modern miracle was first reported by a Fox TV affiliate, KFOX 14, on February 6, 2017. A country music legend, Randy Travis, suffered a massive stroke in 2013 that left him completely debilitated. He underwent brain surgeries that reportedly left him with little hope of surviving. Travis was recently inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, was able to rise out of his wheelchair, stand at the podium, accept the award, and sing Amazing Grace.
Grace, how sweet the
A firefighter and a correction officer suffered a car accident while her car flipped several times and damaged nearly all of her nervous system and left her totally paralyzed. She left the hospital unable to speak, move, or even swallow food on her own. Now she can eat and function on her own. A 6-year-old boy who was 2 years behind on his motor skills due to his sensory disorder was able to jump as a normal child only after one treatment. These modern miracles were performed by 2 acupuncture doctors, a husband and wife team, Dr. Linda and Jason Howe, from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Acupuncture is believed to have originated around 100 BC in China, around the time the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Internal Medicine, Huangdi Neijing, was published, which is one of the oldest ancient Chinese medical texts that has been treated as the fundamental doctrinal source for Chinese medicine for more than 2 millennia. These modern miracles, performed by Dr. House, is using a very special variation of acupuncture called Neuro Acupuncture. Neuro Acupuncture is a contemporary acupuncture technique integrating traditional Chinese needling and stimulating methods with Western medical knowledge of physiology, pathology, and neurology. It has been proven to be a very effective technique for treating central nervous system disorders, such as stroke, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, traumatic brain injury, cerebral palsy, autism, phantom pain, and complex regional pain. The insertion and stimulation of the needles using the neuroacupuncture technique could help patients with even the most challenging and difficult neurological related conditions. It often produces remarkable results with just a few treatments.
There's so many people have the stroke. After their acute stage is over, they left them with paralysis, loss of speech, loss of balance, cannot standing, cannot walking. Some of them, even worse, cannot swallow and cannot speak at all. Each part of the brain has projection area in scalp surface. When they have this, people have a stroke. After stroke, for example, they have paralysis. Certain area on the scalp, we can use these tiny small needles, stimulate these areas, and this area will transfer the stimulate sensation inside the brain and regulate brain functions. For example, people paralyzed after stroke have left side, arm, and leg, feet paralyzed. You put on right side scalp projection areas called responding motor area in the brain, and you put 5 little needles for these motor areas. These areas, and you put needle in, and you stimulate something like that, and they can treat people paralyzed on left side, their leg. If you put needle these areas, they treat people paralyzed on the arm and hand. If people same time face paralyzed, and you can treat right here. Also, lot of common in the clinic, we see patients after stroke, they lost speech. If they cannot speak at all, you can put the needles in that area we call speech 1 areas. This area is projection areas, broca area in the brain. If people can talk and they can make a correct answer and talk a wrong sentence most of the time, this kind of aphasia called sensory aphasia. And you stimulate temporal lobe here and have speech 3 areas. In clinic, we have many people have major improvement or complete recovered for this type of acupuncture.
Dr. Linda and Jason Howe are both very successful acupuncturists, authors, and educators in New Mexico, USA. Dr. Howe's immigrated from China to the U.S. in 1989 and has practiced Chinese Neuro Acupuncture for a few decades.
Try. I know you try. Try it there.
Patients young and old come from all over the country to be treated by Dr. Howe's.
We don't do ad, but people spread by the words, by their experience. So more and more people come from the different, before was like a local, now come from all over the world. In other states, a lot patients, and from other country, Dubai, Australia, Germany, Canada. So this, from this technique, Jason and I, we are specialized. We see really remarkable results. Also, people really trust it. When they get the results, they got is so happy, so amazed, and make our feel like really awarded. With with this kind of situation, even certain time with just one treatment, they get it, and or more like a 2, 3, and later some people stay like more weeks, and when they see first results, they just totally believe this. They really appreciate Chinese medicine.
In patients with limb pains at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C., nearly half felt instant pain relief and showed significant improvement after only one treatment. Cerebral palsy affects about 2 to 3 children out of 1,000 over the age of 3. About 500,000 children and adults in the United States have CP. Cerebral palsy is not usually diagnosed until a child is about 2 or 3 years old. Children with cerebral palsy often require treatment for intellectual disabilities, learning disabilities, and seizures, as well as vision, hearing, and speech difficulties. Chinese Neuro Acupuncture has produced good results in children with cerebral palsy, including paralysis, ataxia, hypotonia or hypertonia, apraxia, dystharia, trouble speaking, dysphasia, and mental retardation. With advanced brain research and imaging technology, scientists continue to understand better how the brain can adapt after damage and even regain its ability to function. The Howes say the results of neuroacupuncture are so remarkable that they had to convince the medical community of its effectiveness. So 3 years ago, Jason Howe returned to school to learn how to film and document their patients.
That's new for him. He never studied himself.
My accident was...
The Howes say paralysis patients are often referred to them by neurosurgeons and specialists. The success stories they document are shared with the medical community and with students at their institute in Santa Fe. Dr. Howes have been teaching classes and seminars in the USA, Europe, Australia, and Canada since 1989 to educate the healthcare professionals and the public about the neuroacupuncture, this little-known socialized treatment. Now let's hear what Dr. Howes' patients have to say about their treatments.
His condition the last 3 years. I'll let him explain.
Yeah, boy, the short order of it is that I began to have symptoms where blurred vision, doubled vision, migraines that just were debilitating. Like you can't see anything, you can't do anything, you're just incapacitated. It got to the point where I didn't feel like I could safely walk, drive. I was throwing up all day, every day, fatigue, couldn't see. It just, I got to the point where I couldn't function.
It was pretty amazing in the first treatment. It was like, who is this guy? Mm-hmm. I just got my husband back.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good deal, isn't it?
Yes.
I am feeling much better. This morning my voice was a little bit harsher and now it's a little bit more clearer.
My injury was T12L1. It just pinched my spinal cord. As soon as I left the rehab hospital, they told me there was nothing I could do, nothing out there would help me. The end of the first week would have been the 4th treatment. I noticed that I could start to move my left leg, which I had not moved anything on my left leg in 4.5 years. And so that got me really excited, and I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, oh crap, now I actually have to believe what he does is real.
We thought, being 3, 4, being as premature as she was, yeah, there would be some issues. But we had no idea that there was any stroke at that point. And so that was the most trying part of it all.
And the whole world exploded. The next day we had MRIs scheduled, and the diagnosis was that she did suffer a stroke to her parietal and temporal lobe. And with those areas being so severely damaged, she may never walk or talk.
Sometimes I don't feel worthy. I don't feel like I'm supposed to be here, or why did this happen to me?
And the fact that I understand people thinking that it's crazy, ridiculous, whatever they want to think, I get that. I can't tell you how it works. All I know is that it works. And it has changed our life.
After the stroke, everything just went boom and put me down. And I had to learn all the stuff we take for granted. And walking, talking, brushing my teeth. I couldn't even do that with this hand. I had to do it with this hand.
He lost control of his right side. And as a flamenco guitarist, you need so much fine motor skill use of both sides.
As far as work, because it's guitar related, I've been taking some time off, but I'll get back to it eventually.
I asked the neurologist if he had ever seen someone with the same type of stroke that Ricardo had. What was the recovery rate? And he says that in his experience, he'd never seen anyone recover from that. Just impossible for him to play.
Dr. Howe's young patients have built a Facebook group to help other patients. The Facebook group is called Howe's Pinheads. Dr. Howe's patients also started the Brain and Neurological Treatment Foundation to further support Dr. Howe's Neuro Acupuncture in treating patients with brain and neurological disorders. You can find more information on Neuro Acupuncture at www.neuroacupunctureinstitute.org. You are watching Global Dragon TV's special report on natural healing discoveries. Please tune in to our next special report on natural healing discoveries on our 24-hour channel or visit our website at www.globaldragontv.com. If you want to be featured on our Natural Healing Discoveries show, please contact us at globaldragontv@gmail.com.